Okay, gentlemen, what we're going to do today is I have a bow here. This is a bow that I've shown before. This is Timber Rattler on a Cherokee longbow. Basically, you could consider this a English longbow as well because it has this rounded belly. It's a very long, it's actually 70 inches. And, but because I put an American skin on it, and rattlesnake, and the snake in question is from kind of the right area, I'm calling it a Cherokee longbow. I challenge anyone to show me the difference except for wood varieties and otherwise, but in any case, I don't want to get a bunch of crazy Englishmen breaking down my door. But in any case, the idea is I've already shown you guys how to make an arrow rest in a longbow, which I showed you how to cut into the bow with a file or a rasp and rasp out your arrow rest, which is a very efficient way to do it if you have a bow that does not bend through the handle. If it bends through the handle, you're severely weakening the bow and it could break on you if you were to do that. What I'm going to show you today is another way to put an arrow rest in the case of a bendy handle, or in a case where the bow was originally made with no arrow rest and you want to add one later. What I've done here is I've added this wonderful grip. I've added the rattlesnake rattle. There's padding. This is one of the most comfortable grips because I've added actually some padding underneath the leather, so it's a really comfortable grip, and it's even wrapped with some serving string to add, a little more toughness. But someone decided to add this bow to their collection. They made a very, very wise decision, of course, to add one of my bows to their archery collection. But he did ask me to add an arrow rest to it, and I said I could. So what I'm going to show you today is how to do that. The way people do this is a couple of ways. You can take a piece of wood, add it, just glue it on with some sort of epoxy. I would recommend a 2-part epoxy. 5-minute epoxy is okay. I prefer something a little more, something that has a little bit more of an iron grip to it. But another way to do it is this is the cheap man's way to do it, the easy way to do it. Everyone somewhere along the lines has a golf tee. This is a little bit extra long golf tee. I got a bag of about 100 of them at Target for I don't know, $3. And what you do in this case is this is a primitive bowyer's trick here. Is you sand the tip because it's got this divot in it, and what you want to do is you want to flatten that out and then round it. You can figure out which. And you want to flatten this side out too. And then once you see, it happens really quick. You see it's already starting to go. And you flatten that out, flatten this out, and then once you've realized where it's going to sit, you want to give it that nice rounded, just a slight rounding of the top. Stick it in some leather dye so it's the right color, and you end up with something that looks like this. There's the golf tee. Obviously you can see it's left over. Nice flat surface. And I've rounded it just slightly, gave it a little rounding there. It has been shaved or sanded all the way down, so it's going to give itself a nice flat against the arrow rest, against the handle, excuse me. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of crazy glue. I've cut a small triangle, very small, smaller than the top of the golf tee. I'm just going to drip a little bit of crazy glue right into there. I'm going to kind of fill it up a little more. I want it to, there. I want to have a little puddle in there. Then I'm just going to take this, I'm going to slide it in. And that is really tight. Alright. Now, I'm going to need a pair of pliers to get that out of there now if I want to get it out. That is not coming out. And I now have a nice little arrow rest. Actually, I may need to pull it out just a smidge. So, let's do that. Problem is, once it's in there and this leather is wrapped really tight, you have to kind of come in here with a screwdriver and give it a little push. And then tuck the leather down a little bit. And I like leaving the leather on if it's a good leather because it makes the shot even quieter because it's not hitting carbon or arrow, or excuse me, carbon wood. Boy, I can't talk today. Carbon arrows or wood arrows aren't hitting off a hard leather or wood surface. This is nice soft Latigo leather like they make motorcycle jackets out of. And there you go. Nice, easy arrow rest. And that will hold an arrow. Don't have an arrow with me, but if you look on a pen, that'll totally, it's just a little smaller than the total width of the pen, which is about the width of an arrow. And since you're canting the bow anyway with longbows, it's going to work great. So this is pretty much the most arrow rest I like on my bows. Most of my bows don't have arrow rests. I just prefer not to. But this works just great for me. It's a consistent spot. It's lined up with the nock. That's all there is to it, guys. If for whatever reasons, if you want a little more space, you could cut the leather around the top away, but I would cut it all the way around this spot here, just like on a regular bow, and that'll give you a little more depth for the arrow to sit in. But I'm telling you, because if you were shooting the bow straight up and down, you know, straight up and down, it might not be enough arrow rest. You're pretty much still in your hand. But with long bows, especially these kind of bows, you cant the bow when you shoot. And now the arrow rest has a place to stop. Or the arrow has a place to stop on that golf tee, and it shoots off, and the arrow rest doesn't affect the flight at all. It's wonderful. Great way to do things. And how easy was that, huh? Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it. A second way to do an arrow rest, if you have a bendy handle, you do have to have some kind of covering on the handle for this kind of thing, or you could just take glue. But with a bendy handle, the bend might cause the glue to pop off, which is why I prefer this golf tee method, and with some kind of grip or arrow rest. God, I can't talk. With some kind of a riser wrap. Okay, there you go. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike from Boyer Bows.